Hello, Nisharina in the house, and I have taken some time to get round to relating my final exit from Soccer Gakkai UK because it's quite a difficult thing for me to talk about. And in my last video, I recalled that the first thing that prompted me to start asking questions was a video I found of some ex-Soccer Gakkai members in Japan on YouTube, to which I will post a link in the comments underneath. Anyway, today I realised that it wasn't that started my initial inquiry. The first thing that prompted me to feel that the organisation in which I had placed my trust and my faith and my hope and had developed friendships that I believed in and trusted, the first thing that caused me to doubt that, possibly quite ignorantly because there were signs from before, but I didn't see them. And basically something really horrible happened to me, and I was hospitalised and then bedridden at home. And there was, for the most part, complete radio silence from my comrades in faith. And the leader of the organisation, having been informed by a friend of mine about the horrible thing that had happened to me, took 3 weeks to call me. And it took quite a long time for that penny to drop. But I was so mash up and so fucked that all I could do was lie in bed and chant. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't have thoughts. I couldn't formulate sentences. Everything was a disaster. And all I could say was Namyo Renge-kyo. And I did that. And I didn't die, and I survived. And I was supported by a couple of men's division members, which was quite interesting because, well, I'd always been in the women's division. And I pulled myself together slowly over the next few months and year, but there began this lingering question, which was, I've always been taught that the Soccer Gakkai is going to be there for me and will hold me and support me, and then at the worst point in my life, everybody disappeared. And there was no one. And that was the first seed of doubt. Not in Namyo Renge-kyo, but in the veracity of the Soccer Gakkai. So subsequent to that, I then found, and I don't know how, the video of these young men who'd been given the Order of the Boot by Soccer Gakkai. And I watched their video, inquired, their arguments seemed pretty realistic to me. And Soccer Gakkai replied weekly. I referred to that in my last video. And I set about doing some research, resulting in me and several other members formulating a letter addressing a huge list of questions. I think it was 11 pages long, this document, and I won't bore you with the questions that we were asking, but one of the issue that struck a chord with me and caused me to feel very, very, very unhappy was the fact that my belief that I was a member of Soka Gakkai International was in fact entirely fallacious, and I wasn't a member. The Soka Gakkai UK was a company, and the only members were the directors. There were 9 of them. It was named. It was very, very clear in the governing documents, which I obtained from the Charities Commission. And so I wrote to Robert Samuels, the head of the organisation. No, it wasn't Robert Samuels. It was Robert Harrop. And said, could you please explain the fact that I've believed that I'm a member of this organisation for 27 years and actually I'm a volunteer. We're listed as volunteers on the website, on the Charity Commission's website. Anyway, we got no response. They were very upset. No, we did get a response, but we didn't get a response that answered any of the questions. They wanted to know why we were asking questions. They refused to meet us as a group. They were really, really upset that the letter was publicised and an open letter sent to everyone that I could possibly think of. And basically, they set up a meeting with all of us and cancelled it and said that they would meet us individually. I spoke to Robert on the phone, and he insisted that he would only meet with us one at a time. I explained to him that given the power dynamic, i.e. he was a lawyer and the head of Soka Gakkai UK, and we were no one, that some people might find it difficult to engage properly on a one-to-one basis. And seeing as how we were asking questions as members, we wanted the meetings to be public and recorded. Anyway, he was having none of it. And I responded with a stiff letter and a piece of poetry, which, if you want a copy of it, private message me. And I was so disappointed, because I really believed until that moment that the Soka Gakkai was actually honest and true in its intent, and I came to realise that it wasn't. It was just some business format thing utilising the so-called membership, who are in fact volunteers, to generate fairly significant amounts of money, and not responding at all to the needs of the community. And that they were using Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, this amazing thing that I discovered that was the core of my life and still is, as a business model. And so I left. And I was heartbroken. And there were a few people I practiced with and carried on chanting with for about a year, until one of them assaulted me. And after that, I decided to just practice on my own, which I did. And I have very, very little connection now, or no connection, with Soka Gakkai members. I bumped into one the other day who invited me to chant, which is the first time that's happened since 2018. And I may or may not action that. And I did a little tour of all the other Nichiren groups and found them all to be decidedly unfavourable towards me. And so I began my journey of being an independent practitioner. And I'm very much still in that place. And I'm very much still experiencing the benefits of chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. And I'm still experiencing the dangers of formalised groups and human behaviour that happens within them. So, I think we've actually come to the end of my journey into and out of the Soka Gakkai and all other Buddhist Nichiren organisations, because I'm not going near that shit again. But I am going to chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. I couldn't stop if I wanted to. But yeah, I think we've reached the end of this little mini series of mine. So what I'm going to do is group them all together into a little playlist, which I will give a name, and in my capacity as Nichireena, I will address in another series of irregular videos my thoughts on the progress of the thing that is called Buddhism. Might as well, innit?